Hello, beer tubers, and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hobbits. Today, checking out another beer that I got sent from Dan in Croatia, and this is a milkshake IPA, even from the Garden Brewery in Croatia. One of the more famous breweries in Croatia, at least abroad, I think. And this is a style milkshake IPA I rarely drink. I'm not too big of a fan of lactose in IPAs. I don't know. The only beers I've had where I think it works somewhat well is in these like sour IPAs they do at Hudson Valley, for example. And it can work sometimes, but it has to be balanced, and there has to be a good amount of hops as well to like counteract everything, so it doesn't become too sweet. But it's made with lactose. The malt or the grist, the malt backbone of the beer, is pale ale malt, torrefied wheat, oats, Munich malt, and aromatic malt, and the hops are Citra, Vic Secret, Summer, Simcoe, Mosaic, and Hanato Blanc, and the yeast is AY3, which I've never heard of. AY3. I wonder if it's an abbreviation of something, but I'm guessing it's an English ale yeast. It's 35 IBUs, which is also fairly high, so there's probably going to be some bitterness to counteract all the juice, because usually with a lot of juice bombs, they're like no IBUs. It's all like Whirlpool hops. But yeah, that's about it. Milkshake IPA. They say sweet, creamy, and juicy with notes of mango, passion fruit, and strawberry and vanilla. Again, I don't drink this style too often, so it'll be interesting to see how this fares. So pour is a hazy looking orange color in the glass. Not like thick hazy or anything. Let's try and get the rest in, because maybe... Nah. Often with these hazy IPAs, sometimes, you'll have a layer of sediment in the bottom of the can, which can be both hops and can also be a bit of yeast. But this looks pretty much the same. There's some floaties now, though. But otherwise, golden orange, hazy look. It looks like pretty much what you think when you think of milkshake IPA and a white head. Let's check out the aroma. And thanks a ton to Dan for the beer. Pretty nice, actually. I'm getting like lychee notes. Fairly tropical. Lychee, I can totally see strawberry. And there is like... you can smell it's going to be sweeter. There's a lot of sweet esters paired with like sweet fruits. I totally sense strawberry. I totally sense mango. But lychee is something that kind of stands out to me. It's not like explosive and like there's just like one of these massive hop bombs. It smells like it's going to be a bit more of a balanced experience. But I also think like it was not like dead fresh when he sent it. So it's a couple months old when I'm drinking it right now. But yeah, let's try it. Cheers. Thanks a ton, Dan. Not for me. This is like what I dislike about hazy beer. Exactly. Really juicy and sweet. Like, sometimes would just wish, like, this seems like this is the European way of doing hazy often. Like, well, maybe it's just like the hype way. Like, a lot of hype hazies are like these bright bangers. But lots of sweet, like, vanilla-y, lactose-y, sugary flavor. Like, fairly sweet. There is a slight bitterness to it, and I think the bitterness in it helps the beer being a bit more drinkable. But otherwise, it's exactly the flavors. Sweet, creamy, juicy, mango, and vanilla. I don't know about the strawberry. There's maybe a bit of passion fruit, but it's like really overripe, juicy mango, kind of just generic multi-fruit juice with vanilla. It's just too sweet to my palate. Like, I would want a much heavier dosing of hops just to make it more drinkable. I think a lot of people will love this and think this is just the bomb because it's like sweet, juicy beer. But it's really not for me. Like, I just a couple sips in and I'm already feeling like, I don't really want to drink much more of this. It's not off or anything. It's exactly how it's supposed to be. and very juicy tasting. Lots of that very juicy, really overripe, dripping, juicy mango, and like also some stone fruit with like custardy sweet vanilla. But I think it's just too much for my taste. I'll say it's not the most heavy, sweet, juicy beer. Like it's not like I've definitely had worse in terms of sweetness and everything. But it's just like it's just not a beer for me, man. Like if I had to think of like milkshake IPAs like this, but maybe without the vanilla, or no, well, it's not me with vanilla, but with lactose. That's just without vanilla. I don't know. I think Tired Hands have done a few milkshake IPAs that's been like more like intense than this one. But I think as for style, it's pretty well made. I mean, if you want a milkshake IPA, this is pretty much how it's supposed to be. But to me, it's just like it gets too much of sweet cloying, juicy malt flavor and juicy sweet esters and then lactose on top. It's just like sweet on sweet on sweet. Like I prefer, like if I have to drink hazies, it should be like these brighter bangers. I don't mind that they have some sweetness playing with the esters, but the hop dosage and everything should just be like this like intense brightness, which is what I prefer, because otherwise I think it gets cloying. Like this is on the verge for me to be cloying, but I think it's mainly just a personal preference thing, because I'm just not that into sweet hoppy beer. So that's it. But yeah, I think it's all right, but not something I prefer the other beers you said, especially the experimental pilsners. So were great. So in terms of a grade for the Milkshake IPA from the Garden Brewery, maybe a bit of passion fruit pineapple kind of vibes too. I can't fault it for doing what it's doing because it's doing it right, but it's just like a bit too sweet for me. Maybe it tastes a bit like run of the mill. It's a bit like every other like hazy IPA, like especially in Denmark, a lot of hazy IPAs taste like this, maybe just without the vanilla note, and I don't fancy that. So for me, maybe like an 80. It's all right, but I just prefer more brightness and less sweetness. That's all. So that's how it is. But thanks a ton for the beer. Anywho, man. Anywho, Dan. But yeah, if you guys had a chance to try the Milkshake IPA by the Garden Brewery, let me know what you thought of it. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page, Twitter, and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I'm going to say cheers. And see you guys in another beer review.